Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community page. I am delighted to be here, and I'm just muting it so I don't hear the background sound. There we go, all perfect. I can be totally present. All right, my friends, I'm Kathryn Yarborough, and I am one of the two hosts of this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show. The other one is Jenny Robertson, the founder of the On Purpose Woman global community. I'm the global facilitator of this community, as well as the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy. As I said, I'm Kathryn Yarborough. I'm your host today, and I'm here today with the cool and awesome, sweet and wonderful Mary Perry. Hello to Mary. And we're going to be talking about what are the signs that the angels are near. So welcome everyone who is listening to us, and please post your questions and comments below, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Let me tell you briefly a little bit about Mary so you know why she's the one who I'm talking to about angels today. Mary is an angel, intuitive, and healer. And I've had the pleasure of getting to know her over the past few months, and she is a sweetheart. I think you're absolutely going to love her as much as I do. And she connects with angels for angelic guidance, and she brings in messages and healing to her clients. So we're going to find out what that's all about and how she does that. And her business is called Wings Unfurled, and with her services, she helps others connect to their own inner wisdom so they can really transform their lives. So Mary offers angel readings, soul readings, and energy healing sessions. We're going to find out more about all of that in just a few minutes. And I am delighted to be here with you, Mary. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here as well. So you have me talking about my favorite thing in the world, which is the angels. And so much help I've received along my years of working with them that I want others to experience that. That's part of my purpose, is helping others transform their lives by tapping into their guidance. And so that's why I'm here.
Well, let's start with a basic question. And I don't know how other people are going to feel about this, because people come into learning about the angels at different stages on the journey, is my understanding. So we're going to start with the basic, which are, what are angels?
Angels to me are beings that have not incarnated in a body, in a physical body.
Ever.
Although I have seen more evidence of some of that in more recent years than I did in the beginning. So I think through our evolution that there are some people that are walking this earth that really had angelic lifetimes, which just surprises me, I will tell you. And it surprised me along the way. We've all heard.
So they're no longer angels.
They came back into a body and decided to live a lifetime here.
Oh, that is really fascinating that you've had that experience. And, when I first heard about angels, I always thought they were like our ancestors, like our grandparents or whatever, who had died and they were now angels. But that's not what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. You can still consider your grandparents and your ancestors angels by all means. They are definitely spirit beings that help us in our lifetime. They move from this life and they want to bring their energy and their help to you. Absolutely. But the angels are what the word angel itself, the EL in angel, means messenger of God. And so what they are here for, no matter what your belief in God is, it can be many different versions of the God that I grew up with or thought that I was growing up with. It can be creator, it can be source energy, whatever that is, whatever that being is to you, it's here to help you live your best life. I was raised Catholic, and so my God was a little bit vengeful, made me feel guilty,
Yeah.
you know, don't do it because God's gonna, see that. And so, it's not who God is. That's not what he wants. And I say he because it's a feminine, divine feminine, masculine being. I don't see them as one way or the other. Angels are the same thing, but they were put, they were created to do God's will, to bring us the messages. So the thing is with the angels, my belief is that they cannot interfere in our lives unless we're going to die ahead of our like timely death. So some people like will have an angelic kind of experience if they're driving in a car and are starting to have an accident or something. They'll say, turn off, stop. The angels could do that, but they won't interfere unless we ask. So for me, when my dad died in 1995, I then started to call on the angels a little bit more because a year after he died, I had a conversation with him on the phone, which
Oh,
just started opening up this world that was really kind of, I was interested in like for years before that, but never really ventured because I was a good Catholic girl. And I never really ventured into, doing or looking any deeper. When my father passed, he saw the angels. He was talking to them. He was trying to get up out of bed and go up in the heavens with them from his bed the day he died.
mm,
And my mom was a big believer in angels. And so that kind of nurtured this whole um, thing with me. And so when I talked to him and started exploring, every time the angels came up, I was like, oh, that makes sense. So I have a bazillion angels around me, always in statues on the walls, statues my mom had. That was, it just started kind of like with some of that. But yet, what I have found over the years after my dad died, I needed to heal. And by inviting the angels in to my life to help me make different decisions, talk about, conquering limiting thought patterns and beliefs, I had huge changes. I mean, I will say that probably the first 40 years of my life, I spent times depressed and very anxious. And after I started asking for the angels to come in and help me, I wasn't so much. I started to have different experiences. I started to have hope, and my life changed. I mean, that part of my life seems like another lifetime. That first 40 years, very instrumental in having me get here, and I'm grateful for that. But it also is not who I am today. And I thank the angels for that because every time I've had to make some sort of big decision or big life change, there's been some interaction outside of myself that has made me stop and go, oh, wait a minute, is that angelic intervention?
mm.
And as I do that and listen, life changes for the better. When I don't listen, it doesn't work out so good.
I hear you, sister.
And sometimes I was a hard head. I
Yeah,
sometimes have a hard head. And
yeah.
so, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so just I love that there's that turning point in your life from 40 till now, and before 40 where they weren't part of your life, and since then it's really made a difference in your life that you opened up to their guidance, their wisdom, their support, their help.
Yep.
And it's so cool wherever it comes in, however it does, whether it's angels or something else, when we step into opening the doorway for something else, it's really cool. And I love that for you it was angels, and that you're getting to share that with us. And
I know.
I know. So you said that you have all these angels around you, and you showed us the statue, but I'm guessing you also actually feel them in a
Oh,
different
yeah.
way, not just on a physical form. So how do you know, other than the statues and all that stuff, pictures, how do you know that angels are there?
So there's a number of ways. Okay. When I was still in my corporate job, a long time ago, I would go for a walk at lunchtime. And every time I walked at lunch, I would find piles of feathers.
Mm.
And sometimes it was near my car, sometimes it was, along the walkway. Made no sense, but there were piles of feathers. I used to collect them. I used to carry a plastic bag and just put them in the bag, because I knew that that was a gift. And by that time, I had started to explore some of this work, but not quite as deeply as I do today. Meditation is one of the ways I know that they're there. When I meditate, when I get quiet, and it doesn't have to be a deep meditation for me, it can just be getting quiet and asking for the presence of Archangel Michael. I believe that if anybody wants to try that, that's the easiest way to start to feel the angel presence. So I would suggest getting quiet, sitting for a minute and just breathing, and then asking, setting that intention and putting out there to the universe, asking if Archangel Michael would show up for you.
Mm.
And then see if you feel a shift in the room, a shift in what's around you. And then one of the coolest things that I do sometimes when in meditation is I ask for him to wrap his wings around me. Archangel Michael is a very large presence. He's a very large angel. And he's got an intense energy. Not all the angels have that intensity to them. Archangel Michael is intense. He's the warrior angel. He comes with his sword and his shield. He's got rippling muscles, long blonde flowing hair. He's really handsome. And yeah,
Bad he's an angel. Okay.
he's an angel. Yes. And
Uh,
as he wraps those wings around you, you can feel it. If you sit quiet and trust yourself, this is another big piece of it, trusting what you hear, feel, see, and know.
mm.
And if you feel a shift and a change, yes, you are feeling him. And with practice, it will get stronger. So for me, Archangel Michael has always been like one of my biggest helpers. And I can call on him in an instant and he's there. He's there for all of us. He's here to help us get rid of fear, which is in our world right now. Who doesn't need some of that? I used to have like sleepless nights where I would wake up at 4 a.m. And when I did that, I was worried about money or my life in some way, shape, or form. And I would feel an energy ball come out of my stomach. I would just sit for a minute quietly and I'd ask Archangel Michael to come and I'd hand him the ball, energy ball over and ask him to take that from me.
Mm.
In more cases than not, I was back to sleep in 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, dear. That's cure for your insomnia rather than drugs.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm uncomfortable, I ask him to wrap his wings around me and levitate me off the bed. Because sometimes my body, with my back stuff, I have back stuff, it hurts. So if he lifts me off the bed, then there's no pressure points on me and I'm just kind of floating. And that's a really cool feeling. How do I know that he's there? I feel it. I take that time to quiet myself and feel it.
Mm.
My biggest clair is there's claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. My biggest clair is clairaudience because I heard the angels when I first started doing this work. I thought everybody heard those little voices in their head that were telling them inspirational things. They weren't telling them that, oh, Mary, that's a stupid idea, because that's your ego talking.
Mm-hmm.
But they were telling, well, maybe you should think about doing it differently this day, or have you thought about this? It's not that, like in your face, you need to do this, but just giving you loving guidance and, and then trusting that it's coming from an inspirational source. My biggest thing was trust in the beginning, which is
Right.
huge for
It
everybody.
is. I know it is very huge. So I just want to give those of you who are watching us live, I want to give you a chance to ask questions of Mary. We've got time here, so I'm going to just check and see if we've got any questions. So far, it doesn't look like we have any questions, but if you're watching us live and you do want to ask Mary a question,
Absolutely.
I will be back over here. Just type it in the chat. Of course, if you're watching the replay, you can do it as well, and I'm sure that either
I'll
Mary
check.
will see it or I'll tag Mary because I'll
Yeah,
see it too. So
that's cool. Yeah.
but I wanted to just take a little moment here to and just ask you, if I wanted to work with you, for example, if I wanted to do something with you, because I know you work with people around the angels, you do angels sessions, angel
I
readings.
I do angel readings, which I use oracle cards created by Doreen Virtue, and I do an angel reading for someone. And I like to start out that way with people because I get connection to their energy. I get the guided messages from the angels that are for them. And then through that hour reading, really kind of come up with a plan for them. Is there something else they need? Or maybe the angel reading is all they need. Maybe they just need a little, tweak of their energy so that they have the next thing that they're supposed to do. And then they might come back later. But
So, so let me just ask for clarification here. So on the one hand, we can all access the angels is part of the invitation,
absolutely,
but
yeah,
because you're practiced at doing it, we can come and work with you, and you can tune in with us or for us to get even more information.
yeah,
And that would be an angel reading. And if anybody's interested, they go to wings-unfurled.com,
yes,
wings-unfurled.com. And it
yes,
should, that website should be in the description here. So if anybody's, if you're going, oh, I want to do this.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, it's a fun thing to do. There are sometimes that deceased relatives come out during the reading. I don't really call myself a medium because that's not my strongest
Mhm.
piece, but I do get messages from people who have passed. Um, they also sometimes the angels, here's how I look at it. My angels talk to their angels. So, outside of whether they're sitting in front of me in person or whether they're on the phone or on a Zoom call or Skype or whatever, my angels are connecting with their energy and their angels.
Well, so let me ask you, if I were to ask you right now to give a little example with me, is
Okay.
that possible? Or do you need to
Absolutely.
go into some
Absolutely.
so
One of your angels just stepped in. So, yeah. And
hello, hello,
his,
hello, hello.
there you go. His name is Joseph. So he's Angel
Joseph.
Joseph. Yep. And it's not a past loved one, but that's just the angel name that he uses. And what I would suggest for you, he's here to help you fly. Sometimes you get very mechanically oriented about physical life. And so you don't see the outside of the box, kind of like, okay, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing. And yet sometimes there might be an easier way. And he's here to help you with some of that. Okay. So, as you start new projects, as you start, your manifestation process for your business, ask Joseph to come in and help with that. You know, Inviting him in will just help that energy um, embracing that energy in a larger way. Um, he's saying that he loves your sense of humor. You two are very similar with a sense of humor. Okay, he's not so serious about life, and that's why he's with you, because he's here to help you with that. You spent a lot of your life in a very serious way trying to do what you were doing, and they love to had to see where you are today, because the progress that you've made is absolutely amazing, and you're helping others make that same kind of transition and progress, and they're blessing you for that. So talk to him, have those conversations when you're driving down the road. Turn the radio off, talk to Joseph, see what
Okay,
he's got
Joseph.
to say. Yep, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Journaling helps. Yep, journaling helps. Calling him in every day helps. Like when I'm taking my shower, I'm calling in my spirit team, and there's a lot of them. So I call in my angels, I call in my guides, I call in ascended masters, I call in a bunch of people to come in and help me and guide me for the day. And then I do a meditation too, not in the shower, but outside of the shower, I do another meditation that helps me get silent.
Mm.
It's in the silence that we hear, see, know, and feel what these beautiful enlightened beings have to say to us.
Mm.
So a lot of times you can get silent pretty quickly. One of the ways is just to kind of bring the energy up with your hands and then sit and breathe. It kind of releases all of the stuff that was going on and
Mm,
lets you go to a place that's really kind of silent and sacred.
mm,
And as you do that, that's when the good stuff comes.
mm,
That's when, the angels really start to interact. One of the ways I talked about feathers, but this is just a really quick little funny story. I did laundry last week, and I washed and I got stuff out of the dryer. And as I got stuff out of the dryer, a shiny dime fell out. Now, I don't keep change in my pants pockets, so there was no change that went in with my laundry. And yet a dime came out. I will sometimes find a lot of pennies on the ground, and I always pick them up and thank God for them. Okay. I used to leave them there for the kids. I don't do that anymore. I embrace whatever, in whatever way God is sending me those gifts. And so when I saw that dime, I got really excited because I was like, oh, it's a dime. That's more than a penny. Oh my gosh, that means good things are really coming. That was my message, and I was grateful and I
10
was
times.
thankful.
10
Yes, 10
times.
times. So I was just really grateful for that. And those are the kinds of messages that the angels send us. You know, um, I don't know how that happened, but however it happened, I'm grateful.
Mm,
The
mm,
other things that I see, and this is just like I can be watching TV and you'll see me like glance up just to see if I see anything in the room, but I'll see little flashes of light in my rooms at times. I don't, have you ever experienced that?
I don't know.
Pay attention because they
Okay.
can be little flashes of light. They're usually up around the ceiling. Sometimes they're clear, but mine a lot of times have color. So like a lot of times when Archangel Michael is around, I'll see a flash of dark blue light. And it's just for an instant. It's almost like you look and it's gone. But it was there. And I do trust that that's an angel coming in. Um, I see different colors for different angels.
Mm.
So just watch for that. Um, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to develop my relationship with Joseph. Thank you for that sharing. That
You're
was
welcome.
wonderful
You're
and really cool how, I mean, I could tell that you were listening to something other than your own inner voice and
exactly.
that that message was coming through and everything that you said totally resonated with me. So if I was working with you, and I'm not asking you to do this now, but what might then happen? Could I ask questions of Joseph?
Oh,
Is that how?
absolutely. You can ask questions. We can, it's so funny. So as I start my readings, I'm shuffling the cards and I'm asking the person that I'm reading for to have the questions in that they want to know about that day. And I don't ask them out loud. I just think about them. When you've done thinking about them, tell me to stop shuffling. And then I start laying my cards out. Well, I've used this deck of cards now for 20 years. It's two decks put together, actually. And the cards that come out are all, there can be the same card for 5 different people, and the message is always different. That's the part that amazes me. The cards for me always were just a conversation starter.
Hmm.
And there will be times in readings when I'm giving the messages, like I'll start talking about a card and kind of like I'm rambling here. That channeling just keeps on coming. And then the next line of cards that I draw are exactly what I just talked about. So, I don't really need the cards. I think people like having that visual. I'll put it that way. I think that that's one of the things that people like. But yeah, so um, the cards are cool, and you can do cards for yourself. I mean, everybody can do cards. The oracle cards, you can ask a question, shuffle them, and just see what comes out. That kind of like builds on your trust with these divine sources of inspiration and guidance. So, part of working with me is how I help you go into that place where you start to trust yourself enough to know that you're getting guidance too. And let's talk about what that means for you and how that looks. And, what are you wanting to change, shift in your life? And have you thought about maybe it's something underneath that? I just want a new job. Maybe there's something underneath that, because every time you get a new job, you end up in this place. What are you putting out to draw to you the new job that isn't really what you truly want? So it's about honing in on some of all of that. And I do that with the angel cards, and I also do angel healing. So there's a number of different, it's different because I use different healing modalities. I have a healing modality called integrated energy therapy, which is an angelic system, which is why I went for it a long time ago, that works with 9 different angels, and they work on integration points in the body. So I actually, if it's in person, I'm touching you and doing a light acupressure touch, like right here and behind the neck and on the side, and there's 9 different places. The cool thing is the angels work on different energies. So like one of the ones on the top of the head, they work on pulling up guilt, and moving it out of your body and your energy fields, which is huge. But they don't just leave those spaces empty. We imprint the opposite of the guilt back in at the end of that integration point. So for each integration point, we work through that process. And what I've noticed with people, like I just the other day on Monday, I had a anniversary that somebody I've been working with for 3 years, every week, doing what I call IET, integrated energy therapy. And she's made the amazing progress. I mean, I would not have kept treating her, except I saw the progress she was making. And she just doesn't want to stop. She still doesn't want to stop. And so anyway, I think that through working with me, you can have some of those, like one of her things was she had PTSD. She was had very low self-esteem and just didn't understand, what she gave back to the world. And this, in the past month, she had her, well, I'll call him her life partner, Beckett, who was her horse, pass away. And she handled it beautifully. She did not melt down. She was present with him as he passed. We were in contact. She's done really remarkably well, and she credits working with the integrated energy therapy and the angels, having her help make those changes in her life. So I think that that's really an important place that, for all of us. The other things I do are Kundalini Reiki, which we've all heard of Reiki. Reiki is a universal energy that comes.
Let's just stop right there, because if someone wants to work with you, you can tell them what you would suggest them to do with you. But the first step often an angel reading?
I think the first step is the angel reading, because that really helps us kind of look at your energies deeper and have more of the angelic input as to what it is you need. And we'll tune that up every time we meet. But that first time, really getting that in-depth look at your energy fields and some of the things you need to work on is important, I feel. So yeah.
So okay, so anyone who's listening, if you're feeling like Mary is a person you want to find out more about, go to wings-unfurled.com, schedule a angel reading. Was there anything special you wanted to share with people about that?
Well, in the magazine, we have a special going right now, so you can go to the magazine and press that click now button to get a special price on an angel reading. So,
so in the On Purpose Woman magazine, which you can get at onpurposewomanmagazine.com, you can open it up and you can find Mary's ad. You can click it and they'll get a special price, right?
Exactly.
And for how long is that, in case somebody's listening later? How long is that through?
I'm going to let it run probably for the whole time this magazine's up.
So through August 31st of 2021. So in case someone's watching in January of 2022, it may not be there. So just go to wings-unfurled.com and set up a time with Mary. And so there was, gosh, I had another question about that, Mary. So that's really a good first stop first step is to set up a angel reading. If you've got a question, type it down below. Where did I go?
I'm always open to, connecting with somebody too for a complimentary, like 10-15 minute call to see if we're a good fit, to see if, there's something that, you have a question about that maybe I can help with. Or maybe I'm going to say, and I will be honest about this, I'll say, nope, that's not if you want to contact your dead father and you want to know, 25 questions from him, that's not how I work. So, yeah, so I will not take them as a client, but I certainly, can maybe provide some other information that would be helpful to them. So,
Okay, cool. Let me just check and see if there's any questions from anybody. I'm not seeing anything right now, but we do have some people tuned in. So if you've written a question and I don't see it, I completely apologize. It's just how I'm looking. I don't see it. So post your questions, and we'll be coming back over there
yeah.
and check on it. So before we wrap up, Mary, is there anything else you want to say about you or the angels?
The angels have been my best friends since 1996, and they've gotten me through a lot of ups and downs and helped me transform my energies. I know it's possible for everybody to do the same. I know that, you may not feel you have gifts, but we all have some sort of clair. We might feel it, we might know something, we might see something or hear something. It doesn't have to be as strong as what my gift started out as, because everybody kept saying, oh, you can do this. I'm like, no, I can't. No, I can't. Yes, I can. And, you're no different from me. And so if you want to make the changes, the thing that's important is that you look in that mirror, that you become the healer. I say I do healing, but yet really all I'm doing is bringing to your energies a chance for you to grab onto that and let that help you find where you need healing most. So, that's part of what I do. I mean, I don't think that there's ever an easy button. And it's really funny because my dad and I did not have the best relationship. And so after he passed, I knew I needed to heal. And I said, oh, once I'm done with that, I'm done. I'll be good. Yeah, well, here I am 25 years later, still working on it, which is fine, because you know what? If I wasn't working on it, I wouldn't be here anymore. I'd be gone. I'd be not in body. So I think healing is a lifelong process. You can make it hard, you can make it easy, you can embrace it, you can fight it. We all have that resistance at times. And sometimes the angels can help us break some of those resistances. And, one of the things, like within integrated energy therapy, you don't have to feel the trauma to heal it. You can just be willing to release and let go. And for that piece, sometimes that's helpful for people because they don't want to feel all that stuff that maybe brings up some hard times for them. So anyway, I can help you with all of that. So angels can. I really don't. I'm saying me. My angels are the ones that do this. It's not me.
Well, I appreciate all that you've done, Mary, to be a person who is a conduit for the angels. So thank you so much for being that, doing that, as well as being here today on the Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show.
I love
So
it.
yeah. So thanks everyone, not just Mary, but thanks to all of you for joining us for this Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show live in the On Purpose Woman global, not the On Purpose Woman global community, in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. Tomorrow, Jenny Robertson is going to be here doing a Real Women, Real Purpose Talk Show. She's going to be back at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and talking with Kim Ely about writing a book and publishing your book via self-publishing. So if you've got a book in you, then be sure to tune in for that. I love Kim. She has so much wisdom about writing. And there is a list of all of our upcoming Real Women, Real Purpose talk shows in the magazine that we were referring to, where Mary has an ad. So go to onpurposewomanmagazine.com or opwgc.com and click the magazine link. Either way, you'll get to the same place, onpurposewomanmagazine.com, and look for Mary's ad. Be sure to take advantage of that opportunity, as well as you can see all the upcoming interviews that we're going to be doing. And if you love this interview, please share it with your friends. The more people who find out about Mary, about the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, and as well the On Purpose Woman global community, the better the world is. So you'll find this replay as well as all the replays of our Real Women, Real Purpose talk shows on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, go to YouTube, type in On Purpose Woman Global Community, and hit subscribe and check out a few of the past interviews. We've got lots of great interviews, and we're going to keep getting more. We are here to shine the light on incredible real women like Mary, who have a real purpose, who are doing it in the world. So I feel so blessed to have the opportunity to do that. And I'll be back Monday, July 12th, to interview Bessie Estenek Talk. Anyway, I think I'm saying it right, about how to say goodbye to chaos and stress. So everyone, I'll see you then. I'll see you
Bye,
too,
everybody.
Mary.